What's up? So I'm going to talk today about what the difference is between small liquor stores and large liquor stores. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one difference, and it is the amount of inventory that the small versus the large liquor store has. So what makes a small liquor store a small liquor store? I don't think it necessarily even has to do with the space. Okay, the space of your store isn't the determining factor of whether you're small or large. Whether you're small or large is the amount of inventory you have. Okay, and there's a pretty good reason for it, and it's not like somebody came up with this as a barrier to entry, but it just happened organically. As you know, if you have a liquor store, it's pretty hard to buy everything on top deal, right? But in order to stay competitive, in order to have the best prices, you have to buy everything on top deal. And so by buying everything on top deal, what that in other words means is that you need a lot of inventory. I mean, right now in Pike's, we have a little bit less than $1 million in inventory, and it's nowhere near enough, right? I think we need double the amount that we have now in order to stay easily competitive with our competition, right? So how do you do it, right? How do you start? I see a lot of people ask me questions that they want to buy a liquor store with like $100,000 inventory, $50,000 inventory, $200,000 inventory, whatever it may be. That is not a lot of inventory. Like I said, we have about $1 million right now, and so I remember about 5 years ago, we had about $150,000 in inventory. And so when I took over the business, the $150,000 in inventory was pretty much steady for about 10, 15 years. It went up and down a little bit, but it never went lower than like 100,000. It never went more than 200,000. And of course, your inventory is going to fluctuate depending on the time of year, because in December, in October, November, you're selling more, hence you're buying more, right? So your inventory is also going up. And so how do you do it? There is no secret formula. It took us 5 years to get from 150 to about $1 million. And so however you want to break that down, that's like $850,000, so that's divided by 5, about $150,000, $200,000 per year added into the inventory, right? And so unfortunately, it doesn't come from the distributors. It doesn't come from your customers. I mean, I guess it does, but it comes very slowly from your customers. So you're buying alcohol, you're selling it, you have your profit margin, you're paying yourself, you're paying your employees, you're paying your rent, you're doing this, you're improving, you're advertising. But the fact remains that in order to get bigger, you need to continue increasing your inventory. And so you can only do this on a year-by-year basis. We're in a situation now where I'm kind of tired of going slowly, and so I'm actively looking for an investor. Okay, we are looking for an investor to kind of boost our inventory because, like I said earlier, I think we need about $2 million in inventory, so about double what we have now, just because what we have isn't enough. We're constantly running out of the stuff, of the stuff that turns. For example, right now I'm sampling a little bit of Foursquare 2008. This stuff is great, by the way. Anyway, this is easy to buy, right? Because the top deal in the distributor is one case. But now that we have expanded our rum section, for example, every new rum you bring in, every new whiskey you bring in, every new wine you bring in that's not top deal from the company, right? There's a risk that you're not going to be able to sell it within 30 days, within 1 year, okay? It might be a dud. And so what are you going to do other than drink it? This one sells well, no doubt, and it's delicious. But it puts you in a tight spot as far as inventory. So it's safe to assume that if the distributor you're working with requires you to buy like 50 cases of something to get the top deal, it's safe to assume that it will generally sell itself at the right price, right? So whether that's Tito's, obviously, or like Apothic Red, I'm looking around, like for example, Ray and Nephew, right? I had to buy 100 cases of Ray and Nephew in order to get the top deal. So up until last year, it was something that was outside of the realm of possibility for Pikes. Taking 100 cases of Ray and Nephew is a pretty large drop. That's like $20,000, $30,000 right there, right? But the thing is that once you have that, I think it's your responsibility to price it low, to build the customer's trust, and to have the regular drinkers of that stuff come and buy it from you. And in the meantime, since you are buying from a large distributor, you always have the option of asking your sales rep or asking their merchandiser to give you some not paraphernalia, what's it called? Like merchandise, like some hats, maybe some t-shirts. That's cool, but what they really can do to push the brand is like put it in your window, you know, a window display. They can order some special display for most items. You can book tastings. You can just ask them for support, you know, so that's cool. What's not cool is ordering things like Foursquare, for example. Foursquare is a bad example, but for example, like this kind of, you know, this kind of Japanese whiskey here, I bought this because we wanted a larger Japanese whiskey section, right? And I just wanted the customers to have more, you know, selection. Let's assume I paid $2,000 for 2 cases of this, right? We probably sold 3 or 4 bottles in the past year of it. Now, I wouldn't say it's a dud. Yes, it's not selling well enough, but without it, we wouldn't have that larger Japanese section. We probably wouldn't sell as much of the other Japanese stuff that we do. But that $2,000, okay, came straight from profit. It's not coming from revenue, right? I mean, it is. The way I look at it is you're generating revenue, but every time you want to go out and buy a new product, you have to go and buy that with your profit earned, okay? It's not coming out of the revenue that's repeating. You're buying 30 cases of Tito's and you're selling 30 cases of Tito's, but now you want to buy, you know, the new Tito's XXL, whatever, right? So you have to go into your pocket and buy that. And that is how you step by step increase your inventory without really thinking about it, I guess. Every time you're buying that new product in your store, every time you're expanding your selection, you have to put your profit into your inventory as opposed to just having the, like for example, for 10 years we had $150,000 of inventory and it didn't really fluctuate much, right? Because we weren't buying that many new products. The extent of buying our new products was, you know, if a customer came in and asked for something, right? It wasn't in anticipation of a new trend. Like for example, right now the rum trend, which by the way, you should be buying rum if you have a liquor store. It's great, low deals, and there is a large community of rum buyers out there. It's just like whiskey, just not as popular as whiskey yet. So that's that. And so, in conclusion, it is very difficult to increase your inventory. And there's no other way than generating profit and deciding to, instead of pay yourself or buy a new house or whatever, you have to buy more inventory, which, you know, somebody else is going to pay for that inventory in the end anyway. You're probably going to plan on selling the business at some point or, you know, walking away from it in some way, and your inventory is there to be, you know, to sell. So hopefully you don't buy too many of the wrong products. Another thing that I truly believe in and what we do often is clearance sales. So if you do have inventory, you bought 10 cases of some wine or some rum that is just sitting, open a bottle, you know, try it, see if it's good. If it is good, have customers start trying it. If you have a website, put it on your, make a clearance section on your website, make a clearance section in your store physically, you know, and sell the stuff that's not selling. You know, it's obviously much easier said than done, especially with something like this Yamato Japanese whiskey that I showed earlier, where this, I believe the bottle cost on this is like $40. So even if I'm selling it at cost, it's just not that enticing. But, you know, hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, and get that shit out of your store. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, man. Guys. I say guys because I've noticed in my YouTube analytics that like 100% of you guys are men, which I guess makes sense. Not too many lady liquor store owners out there, I guess, or whatever you guys do. I'm assuming most of you guys are liquor store owners. If you are a liquor store owner anyway, why don't you write something in the comments? You know, we should start some communication. You know, maybe we could share some more ideas. Maybe I can make a video with somebody sometime soon. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Comment down there if you are a liquor store owner and what you think about increasing inventory, and I will see you later.